So now we have corrected the Ampere's circuital law and we found there is not only conduction current, there is one additional current which is called displacement current. So inside the capacitor we have displacement current and conduction current is equal to 0. Outside, both side outside, what we have conduction current and displacement current equal to 0. So in any case total current is I, which is sum of IC plus ID, and IC was already IC and ID we have calculated epsilon 0 d phi E by dt. So this current is because of the change in flux, change in electric flux. This current is coming because of this, or the cause of this current is changing electric field. Changing electric field is changing this electric flux, hence we are getting a new kind of current. So here we can see the detailed diagram, we can see this detailed diagram. So this is current IT, this is IT, and this is point outside, this is point inside, this point M is inside, this is point outside. So at the both places we are getting the magnetic field, outside because of this conduction current and inside we are getting this because of this electric field is changing with time, and hence we are getting this ID. So at both places we are getting the magnetic field. This also gives us another important consequence. Even in the region we were previously considering there was no magnetic field, even there what we got, there is magnetic field which is not equal to 0 because of the changing electric flux. Because of the changing electric flux we got this magnetic field. And if we remember Faraday's law, what was Faraday's law? There is electric fields associated with changing magnetic field. Now we are getting the inverse of that. There is a magnetic field associated with changing electric field. So all three conditions are satisfied. So magnetic fields are produced by conduction current, that means moving charges. Electric fields are produced by changing magnetic fields. And now what we have got? We have got this magnetic fields are produced by changing electric fields. So all three are now highly consistent. So this was our equation. So the total current passing through any surface of the closed loop, that is the perimeter, is the sum of conduction current and the displacement current. So ultimately what we get? We get total current. The total current passing through any surface of the which the closed loop is the perimeter is the sum of conduction current and displacement current. So we have considered the Amperian loop and total current passing through that Amperian loop is IC plus ID. In this figure you can see the side view of this parallel plate capacitor. So this was our parallel plate capacitor, and as I have already told you that the parallel plate capacitor does not mean that these plates must be flat. That does not mean that these plates must be rectangular. These plates can be circular as well. So if we see it from the side, so what we see them as lines. So this side was positive, this side was negative. So this was our electric field. So now we are seeing this from this side. So when we see from this side, so what we see this electric field by these crosses. And what we can see, this electric field is uniform. This electric field is quite uniform. So this capital R is the radius of the capacitor, this capital R, and this small r is the radius of that Amperian loop that we have considered inside. So we have considered an Amperian loop inside the capacitor. So this is our Amperian loop. So this is our Amperian loop inside. So this small r is the radius of that Amperian loop inside, and this capital R is the radius of the capacitor plate. And again this capacitor plate can be rectangular because when you rectangular or circular, because when you see its side, so it will look like a parallel plates capacitor. So plates can be circular as well. So these plates are circular. Now what we can see, this electric field from positive to negative. So we are seeing from this side, this plate was positive, this plate was negative. Hence this electric field is shown by crosses, and this is uniform. That means electric field is inside the plane of this paper. So electric field is going inside. That's why we are showing it by a cross. Now what is the direction of the magnetic field inside? Now we are inside the capacitor, inside point M. So what is the direction of magnetic field? Here what we can see, this magnetic field is radial magnetic field. That means its direction will change according to the point taken. So at this point this is in this direction, at this point it is in this direction, and at every point it is tangential to the point. So this is magnetic field is always tangential to the point. So this is our magnetic field inside a point M, and since this was the center of this small circle as well as outside circle. So what we get? We get uniform magnetic field at every point of this circle, because for circle distance remains same. Suppose if we taken this radius to be bigger, then this magnetic field may change, but when we are taking it constant, so this magnetic field will not change. So this magnetic field will not change if we take the radius constant. So at every point of this circle, the magnitude of the magnetic field will remain same, only the direction will change. So now let us see what is the generalized Ampere's law. So this I is IC plus ID, IC plus epsilon naught d phi E by dt. Okay. So now generalized and correct Ampere's circuital law. So what is correct Ampere's circuital law? Now it has the same form. It has the same form. What we have done? Now we have changed this current I with IC plus ID. So we have added both the current. So again B dot dl, the integral of this B dot dl is, this is first term mu naught IC and this second term is mu naught ID. And what is the value of ID? ID is epsilon 0 d phi E by dt. So what we did? So this is mu naught I. This was mu naught into I. So let me write in this way, mu naught into I, and this mu naught into IC plus ID. So this is generalized Ampere's circuital law. So first term is mu naught IC. This is first term. And mu naught, what is ID? ID is epsilon naught d phi E by dt. So this is called generalized Ampere's circuital law, or called Ampere's Maxwell law, because now it is completely correct. There is no problem with this law. Now with this law, if we try to calculate the magnetic field whether inside the capacitor or outside the capacitor, we will get some magnetic field, which is true when Maxwell did the experiment. He also found the magnetic field inside the capacitor. In all respects, the displacement current has the same physical effects as conduction current. So what we have learned? So this displacement current, which is due to changing electric field, this displacement current is due to changing electric field, and changing electric field is giving rise to this change in flux. So this is very similar to the conduction current. In most of the cases, they both may be present. So we cannot say that whether IC is completely 0 or ID is completely 0. So this is only in ideal situation, but in real world there are very less number of ideal situation. That's why it is written in most of the cases they both may be present in the same region of space. So what we have learned, in the same region of space they both may be present. That means there is some IC, some ID, but there is some which is I, that is constant. Why? Because as there exists no perfectly conducting or perfectly insulating medium. So we know there is nothing which have R is equal to infinity, and there is nothing for which R is equal to 0. So these are the conditions. There is no perfectly conducting thing, there is no perfectly insulating thing. That's why in most of the regions of space what we get, I is equal to IC plus ID, where both of them are non-zero. Both of them are non-zero. That's why we add them. There is not only conduction current, not only displacement current. In most of the regions there are both of them, and we use some of them.